So yesterday, we spoke with the gentleman who got convicted of manslaughter of his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, and it was only right that we give him his side of the story. But in the same instance, it's only right that also the family have their say, because obviously the young lady is not here to have her say. So here is her younger brother's reaction to his interview and the family side of the story. One. Yeah, so how you doing? Good afternoon, first and foremost. Of course, you want to introduce yourself, your name?
My name is Julius Katrina. I'm the brother of Katrina.
Yeah, and first and foremost, as we'll say, condolences to you and your family, and of course, rest in peace to her at such a young age to be sadly taken away like that. Oh, hang on, make sure I don't get your number there. So obviously yesterday, I spoke to the guy that was involved in the whole incident, and he gave his side of the story, which is right for us to give him that platform to him to detail that. But it's also right for the family to have their say and to say what they feel happened, and their side too. So if you wanna let me know first and foremost, we'll start from the beginning. How did you guys first get to know him?
We first got to know, we knew him as Shay. We first got to know Shay. I believe his nickname was Capone. We first got to know him as, I think my sister brought him over once or twice, and we never liked him from the start. That's nothing to do with him, just him as a person. He just seemed as in my opinion, he seemed like a violent individual, someone who was involved with gang violence and gang members, and you could just see from the way he was and the way he articulates his words, he was not a person for my sister. However, my sister saw something in him, and over time, what she saw in him obviously faded, and he obviously trapped her within the relationship.
So when you say you thought that he was involved in gangs, was his mannerism? Was it the thing that he said, or was you aware of the stuff he doing?
No, it's his mannerism, the way he articulates himself, the way he dresses, his gold teeth. Don't get me wrong, gold teeth doesn't mean you're a gang member, but his nickname, Capone, if you don't know, that's Al Capone, an Italian mafia mobster. Also, he had affiliations with 6ix9ine, the gang.
6ix9ine?
So it's not... sorry, what was that gang called? 6-7 or whatever they're called.
So from the back of that, the family just didn't like him.
Yeah, from that we didn't like him, and then over time, from what we saw and obviously what developed, we started to hate him, the way he was treating my sister, the way he was beating on her without us knowing, and we didn't know this. This was going on for a few months. She kept this away from us because she was strong enough to just keep that away from us. She didn't want to tell us. This was going on months prior to before we even knew, and then when we knew about it, it still continued for a year. We pleaded and we begged her to leave him. However, she wouldn't.
How did you find out that he was beating on her?
So she came home, she spoke to me one day, and she said, Julius, I'm not sure I can do this anymore. And then she just started crying, and I said, what's wrong? And she just cried on my shoulder, and I listened to her, and she said, he's been treating me like shit, meaning Dada. I'm not sure what his name is, but he's been treating me like crap, and he's been beating on me. And then I saw messages of him just being disgusting and just saying things like, I swear if you ever leave me, your whole family's getting it, and things like that. So she was trapped. She couldn't leave him. I'm not sure what you think, but when a 6'2", 3'4" individual of 200 pounds tells you, if you ever leave me, I'm going to come and kill you and your whole family, what do you expect to do?
And you guys had these text messages?
I've got proof, I've got text messages, I've got a picture of him tied her up in his house, which his mum condoned, and I've got him screenshots of messages with Katrina's friends, several, 3 or 4, I believe. I've got proof of 2 managers that complained about him, my sister's previous managers. Bear in mind, she was 17. Most kids who are 17 are in college and doing what? Not messing about, smoking, out partying. She was working 5 days a week on minimum wage, 5 times 35 an hour, just so she could become a beautician at 17 years of age. And he approached her work, made her leave her job. They had to close the doors on him. He said he was going to attack her. This is a witness statement from a manager that my sister used to work for, so it's not lies or fabrications.
How did him and your sister originally meet?
I believe it was through Instagram or at a party or something.
So, because he said that the family they liked him at the beginning, so there wasn't any point that you guys ever liked him. He said he spent Christmas with you guys.
No. There's a difference between liking someone and having to put up with someone. Yeah. We had to put up with him for the sake of my sister. We loved our sister that much that we put up with someone that we hate just so we could make her happy. There's a difference between liking him and I read his interview. I heard his interview. He said the only thing we didn't like is that he threw something over my sister, over her head, some water or something. No, we didn't like him because of the fact he threatened her. He just demoralized her. He just terrorized her, abused her, made her depressed.
So in regards to then, I guess, because it says that some police officers are in trouble for not taking action. So you guys went to the police because of these things?
That's correct. And we didn't go to the police. The IOTC, the Independent Office of Police Investigation, found this out themselves, that the police had covered up evidence and certain things about him. I can't go into detail because the case is still ongoing.
No, I totally understand. What I'm trying to say is that as a family, you guys went to the police at the beginning, or she went to the police because apparently he was reported 5 times?
I believe she went first. Then we obviously knew that the police were involved, and then that's when we got involved and we realised that this individual wasn't supposed to be or isn't the person he's making out to be.
So, obviously, the incident happened. Was there anything prior, like maybe the couple of days before, the week before, where you had an inkling that something was not right?
Yes. She spoke to me the day before she died, and she told me something was going to happen. She felt like she had this weird thing. She cried on my shoulder. And the fact, I heard your interview. He said she didn't know she was coming. I have proof and text message 45 to 30 minutes before her death. He texted her, where the F are you? How long are you going to be? Who are you bringing? Who are you coming with? So he clearly knew something about he was in a house. He didn't know. They started arguing from the 3rd floor. There was knife marks from the 2nd floor or the 3rd floor where he pinned her up against the wall and was stabbing the wall as if, you know when you scare someone, like, go on, keep talking crap. And if you put her body towards that wall, there were stab marks clearly near her head and her belly where he was trying to just threaten her. And then he had the audacity to say she fell on the floor. Why was her trainer 10 meters away from her body? Why was there blood over a 5-meter distance? Why was the doctors and ambulance baffled at the fact that there was blood everywhere? If she fell into her handbag, she would have fallen in one spot. Tell us that. Why did it look like the body was dragged? Why did the coroner say that this was not an accident? Why is it still ongoing? He's a complete liar. He's waiting for her to die, and then he calls the police.
So, I totally hear what you're saying, and
that's my opinion earlier, of course. I understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, because that's your opinion, because I guess in a court of law, they're saying that did this not happen, it was an accident and it was manslaughter. So what makes you so sure that your version is correct?
What makes me so sure that my version is correct is that the Metropolitan Police are being investigated for lying, for deleting evidence. He was in prison under another name. He didn't tell you that, did he? That's how much of a truthful person he is. That's why he only got 2 years, because he was in prison under another name, and that's why we couldn't get him on any other charges. He forgot to tell you that, didn't he?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so there you go. And
so what you're saying, there was text messages of him saying to your sister, "Where are you? How long are you gonna be?" So he knew she was on his way.
Yes, and those text messages, I can prove, I have screenshots, just not even simple things like, where are you? where the F are you? I'm going to burn your mum, meaning I'm going to shoot your mum. Your whole family is getting M'd off. And things like that. It's just disgusting. How the hell can you speak to a girl, let alone your girlfriend, someone that you love? And then he has the audacity to say in your interview, sometimes you have to take L's, meaning losses. If you care or loved or had any compassion towards me, my family, or my sister, you would not speak like that.
And like, when she was going to the house, was you guys aware of this? And as your sister, like, why did she feel that she needed to bring a knife?
I will explain that to you. So the police never actually found out where the knife came from. They just believed she brought it. They tracked her from when she left my house all the way until his house. The last they saw her was she was on a bus getting off near his house. They tracked all her movements, and they did not see her once go into a shop or meet someone for a knife. They came to our house to check if we had knives along this tag. I believe the knife was yellow, orange, or red, something along the maroon color. They checked our knives. We didn't have no knives along that tag. We had steel silver, and we had black knives. So that's how they concluded that the knife wasn't from ours. They believed the knife was in her handbag. But I just don't understand why she would have brought a knife, especially in her so-called Versace handbag that she didn't want to ever ruin. The knife just about fit in the bag, as the police and coroner said, and it's just baffling. The police haven't. What I would like is I would like the police to exactly tell me where the knife came from, because it didn't come from my house, and she didn't. They just found the knife in her bag. In my opinion, and this is totally my opinion, he waited for her dad. He murdered her. It was calculated, and that's just completely my opinion. Everyone has their choice.
But I totally understand as you're coming from a brother's point of view, but wouldn't forensics sort of define that? Wouldn't the forensics say that?
Let me tell you this. Tell me forensics. They interviewed me about 3, 4, 5 days after her death. I was speaking to a policeman, which I have video of, that he didn't know I was recording. I was speaking to a liaison officer, and he says to me, the police liaison says to me, "Oh, we've spoken to everyone. We've spoken to everyone in the flat from top to bottom, and we will speak to everyone from top to bottom." Little did I know, I asked in the sidewalk from the second floor. He says, "What?" I have proof of this all on video. He says, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, there were stab marks near my brother. We saw blood all over the floor, all over the distance. The second, third floor, we saw stab marks."
So you're cutting out a little bit. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, I was speaking to the officer, and the officer told me, "Sorry, where were the stab marks? On which floor?" I said, "The second floor. Me and my brother was there." He says, "Oh, really?" So they clearly didn't do a thorough investigation. And then we actually changed our police liaison officers. It's clear that the police were not doing their job to the fullest. My sister asked plenty of times for him to be arrested. He threw a hot tea over my sister's head, and he was arrested outside the police station. 3 hours later, he was released. However, there was how would you say? He was supposed to be. They wasn't supposed to release him as he missed his bail or something like that. So they should have actually kept him there. They should have released him 3 hours later. So that's the first mistake they made right there.
Yeah. So
he was. Yeah. The only way I can explain it to you, imagine you have a daughter, she wants to go out with her friends, and then she comes to you and her man says, you're not allowed out, and tries to embarrass her, and just tries to bully her. No, you're not going out with these friends, you're not seeing these people, because he was insecure, he was jealous, he was envious, I don't understand, you have to understand, put yourself in that situation where you have a daughter and she's being abused like this, and she's not actually going to tell you everything, because she's a girl, she thinks she can put up with it and get away from it. Just imagine your daughter was in that position and someone was harassing her every day. You're not allowed to go out, you're not allowed to meet these boys, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. How are you going to feel?
So would you say he was controlling and insecure?
He was very controlling. I have messages enough to fill the Bible of how controlling and how demoralized he made her. And he, for instance, he bought her things for her birthday, and he took it back a week later. And he asked me about 10 minutes ago, why did she go there? This is why, because he bought a thing for her birthday, he took it and he took her phone knowing well that she needed it back, and that's why she went to his house for her iPhone.
So when these things were sort of happening, I know she didn't tell you everything, but she told you a few things. Did you ever feel like confronting him, or was it because you're not in that nature and you thought he was a gang member and you was a little bit scared yourself?
All in all, to be honest, I did have a little bit of fear, not of him, of the repercussions that could happen. For instance, things coming through my window, my family being attacked outside, and things like that. I wasn't scared of that individual. I've been face to face with him before, not in a violent manner, but I wasn't scared of him at all. I was scared of the repercussions of the people he knew. And yeah, I've got a future, I've got a life, I'm working in a future assistant. I wouldn't want my kids or anyone to be affected by my decisions or my sister's decisions, if you understand where I'm coming from.
And how has this whole situation affected your whole family, like your parents, your other siblings?
Well, I can tell you, for the first month and a half, I don't think my mum showered, I don't think she ate, I don't think she bathed, I don't think she fought. I think she cried every day. Even to this day, she's up every day, 4, 3 in the morning, drinking, having a coffee, all she can do. And we, in our religion, we cover all the mirrors, and you're not allowed to look at mirrors and things like that. And it's just, he didn't tell you the fact that he beat up my sister and put her in an Uber naked, did he? And he made her take her Uber naked. He didn't tell you that. He didn't. It's just so many things he didn't tell you. He didn't. It's just horrible. Like, he bought things for her birthday, and then he took it. If you can't trust someone, I'm not being funny, but if you can't trust someone or you feel like they're cheating, be a man, grow some balls, leave the girl alone. No, he stayed because he wanted to control her, and so no one else could have her.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say that one. 'Cause I did ask him, like, if she cheated, if she was talking to other guys, why didn't you leave? And he said because she'd done a lot for him when he first got out of jail, and it made him like be loyal to her. So was you ever in any notion that she was talking to other guys? Not that that's an excuse for anyone to ever kill anyone at all for no reason at all. Yeah. That's absolutely wrong. But was you any sort of notion that she may have had other friends that she was maybe interested in, that, and she was looking to leave him for someone else?
No, I believe he was thinking this way because some of her friends they're very party girls.
Yeah.
And he was jealous that she was going out and clubbing, and he was jealous that she was going out and party. But you know, when you're a 17-year-old girl, you work 5 days a week on minimum wage just to make something of your future, and then you expect to go out on a Friday or Saturday night just to enjoy it with your friends after the hard week you've had. And he wouldn't let her do that. Where the F are you? Why are you going out? Is there any boys there? I'm not being funny, but I tell my partner, okay, go out, let me know what time you're back if you need to pick you up. That's it, have a good night. If she cheats on you or anything like that, then that's her loss. I don't understand why he was such an envious, jealous person.
And obviously you heard from his interview yesterday. What would you say is the thing that what truth did he tell? Did he tell any truth at all in anything that he said?
No, I don't think he told the truth in anything. Even the way, I'm not being funny, but even now I feel, just feel sad and depressed and feel like crying. At no point did he feel like, I don't feel like there was any emotional remorse from him, The ITV lady, she interviewed me and she clearly saw me. I can get proof of that. She saw him look at me, he smiled and grinned at me during the trial.
So from yesterday's interview as well, you didn't feel no remorse or no empathy towards the situation or what happened? He
just wants this out there because I'm not sure, but yesterday there was a lot of news that came out of Katrina about police officers and misconduct or whatnot, and I think he's just worried the way people perceive him and things like that. And you have to understand that he's out, he's breathing, he can have a family, he can have a woman, he can have kids. But my sister's 6-7 feet under, lifeless, with a 17-centimeter stab wound straight through her heart. What was she thinking the day before the seconds as she died, as he lay there watching her die? And on the body cam footage, the police arrived, and he's not even next to her. He's banging his head on the wall saying, it's your sister's fault. Do you know why he said it's your sister's fault? The reason for that is 25 minutes to 45 minutes before Katrina's death, he called my sister, my big sister Nicola, and he told her, "Oh, where's your sister? Katrina wants to leave me. Tell her this, that, and the other," and she ignored him. And then that's why he got angry. Hence, when the police arrived on body cam footage, they caught him banging his head on the wall with his hands in his head, saying, "It's your sister's fault. I'm sorry, if you murdered your girlfriend, you wouldn't be screaming, it's your sister's fault. You'd be there trying to give her CPR and breathe and maybe he did try and give her CPR, but on the body cam footage, you can clearly see he's about 5 to 10 meters away from the body, banging his head with his hands in his head, saying, it's your sister's fault, it's your sister's fault." I think that's clear enough. And it's just stupid that the Metropolitan Police haven't done better. And it's clear they haven't done better because they've been charged with misconduct and they're going through misconduct. It's clear that there was some kind of error or fault or lies.
I hear you. What regrets do you have in regards to the whole situation?
In my opinion, I think I'll explain to you this. I went there the day after she died, or 2 days after she died. The amount of blood on the walls, on the floor, even the goddamn ceiling. How does blood get on the ceiling if she just fell on the bag? Can you explain that to me, please? The fight happened upstairs. He threatened her. He made her stab marks in the wall that the terrible Metropolitan Police couldn't even bother going up one floor for a 17-year-old girl. They argued, they came down. This is all in my opinion, hypothetical. They came down. They was on the fight. They was on the ground floor. It escalated. And her trainer was 10 meters away from her. How, if you fall, I'm sure your trainer doesn't end up 10 meters away. I'm sure blood wouldn't get on the wall from falling. He clearly, in my own opinion, he clearly killed her, waited for her to die, and then he called the police. Even the coroner said this was not an accident, hence why it's still going on.
So you said it's still going on, as in what? Are you guys appealing or?
No, it's still going on. For instance, we will appeal again, and obviously the matter with the police misconduct, that's still going on.
But I guess in regards to his conviction, I mean, his conviction is done now. I guess his conviction is done, but he hasn't served his time. 2 years for killing someone, and he would have got a lot more time if we knew that he'd been in prison before under a false name. We would have got a lot more time. He would have got a lot more time in prison. Instead, I think he got category C or D, and that means 2 to 4 years manslaughter. So what you're saying is that there is no evidence at all that the knife actually belonged to your sister, and you don't think your sister would have ever carried a knife?
No. And the police, I asked the police, how do you know the knife was in her bag? How do you know she bought it? We don't. He said, we just think. If the police can come to me and tell me that she did carry that knife, maybe I could be able to cope with it a little bit better. But the police haven't told us. The police didn't. The knife didn't belong in our house. It was a reddish, orange, yellow knife. God, I'm not being funny, but when you buy a knife, I'm sure 99% of the time it comes with a set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we would have had some orange, green, whatever color the knife was. I don't understand. And even the coroner said the force that the knife went through. You have to understand, the knife didn't pierce her. She died. The knife went straight through her heart, 17 centimeters through the rib into her heart, broke her rib off. And the police even told us, what would you like to do with the rib? Like the rib that fell off, would you like us to cremate it, or would you like to keep it?
So it went 17 centimeters into her body?
Yes, straight through her heart.
Wow. You
know how much force that has to be used? Even the ambulance that came on scene, they said, I don't understand why there's so much blood everywhere. I'm not being funny, I'm not trying to do anything, but you could clearly tell he moved the body. It was clear that body had been moved. Like, you could just clearly tell if someone falls, you die, you fall on the handbag, you'll be within a 1 to 2 meter squared. However, it was over 5 to 10 meters. You could tell she fought for her life.
I mean, what he did say in that regard was that after he went upstairs to try to get his phone to get help, that she must have gotten up.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that was the mistake. On body cam, I'm sorry, but they let him run upstairs into his room. I'm sorry, but they should have kept that murderer there. They should have kept him there. Instead, he was allowed to run up to his room and do whatever he needed to and come back. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
They let, on camera, you could see he left. He went upstairs. Why would you let someone that could possibly be the murderer and hide some sort of evidence? Why would you let him leave the crime scene?
If he was in front of you right now, what would you tell him?
I'd tell him, I will never forgive you. You're a sick, calculated, psychopathic killer who got away with murder, and I hope no family or woman ever has to go through this again, because it's just horrible. People don't understand. People comment, oh, free him, girls are like this, that, and the other. But if they saw the screenshots, text messages, and things that I have, I swear it would just expose him so much. But I'm more than happy to know within myself that it's true. And when the time is right and the case is fully over, he will be exposed.
So I guess you can never sort of fully heal from these sort of situations.
No, you can't fully heal. How do you heal when your mum cries at you at 3 in the morning? How do you heal when you have to spend 15, 20 grand on a person that you thought you loved? How do you heal when how do you heal from that? How do you find peace in death? You can't.
I guess you can't fully ever heal, and like the only thing is, I guess time makes things a bit easier.
Yes, it does make it easier, and we could have healed if we got justice, but we didn't. We was lied to by him. We was lied to by the Metropolitan Police, and the only people or organisation that actually tried to help us was the IOPC, the Independent Office of Police Investigation. Without them, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even know that the police lied and create fabrications. Without the IOPC, which I'm grateful for, we wouldn't even be here having this conversation.
I hear you. Go ahead.
It's like, where do we go from now? You know, you have to understand where I'm coming from. He gets to live his life, have his family, love. We suffer every day till now, you know. We suffer in the ways that we have pictures all over the house with our little sister, you know, a 17-year-old girl who was a beautician, who had her whole life ahead of her, who was beautiful, who had the whole world at her feet. And because this man was jealous, envious, sick, he took a young girl's life, whether it was an accident or not, which I believe it wasn't. He took her life, and he had the audacity to sit there and crack jokes and say, oh, taking L's and this, that. This person has no compassion. This person has no remorse. He was a psychopathic murderer who got away with killing a 17-year-old girl. Just look at the way he spoke in your interview. Oh, some take losses, blah, blah, blah. He has no report. He has no remorse at all. You can just, we begged and pleaded my sister to leave him, but she was just scared of the repercussions, and we couldn't do anything, you know. We're still suffering now. We have to visit our sister in a grave. We can't get a hello from our sister. The things I think about, and the things my family think about, while he's chilling, probably smoking weed, relaxing, partying with his friends, we're thinking about what my sister's last thoughts were, how much pain she was in, who was she begging for us to be there, you know? These are the things we think about.
Yes, well, it must be difficult. I can't even comprehend that. So, what I guess advice would you give to young females or even males out there in relationships that are toxic like this? What would be the best advice for them when there are threats and there is abuse?
Advice I could give to young females, males, or any gender, I would honestly say, speak to the people you love or the people you most trust. I completely know, because this was my sister, my family member, my blood, and she was scared to tell her, so I completely understand where people from part to people to say. But if you could just give us an example of what this person is in. So if a girl or boy feels like they're being abused or terrorized or just like they're stuck in a relationship, just speak to someone. And more often than not, I wouldn't speak to a friend because a friend is very biased, and I'd speak to someone professional. I'd speak to a counsellor or something, because a lot of the time friends will just say, don't worry, get over it, it will be fine. And that's the worst thing you can hear, and that's what Katrina, this is what happens. No matter what, once the relationship is toxic, it will always be like that. Once your boyfriend has threatened you, I think they don't deserve a second chance, because the person you love You wouldn't want to see them in pain. You wouldn't want to see them crying. You wouldn't want to see them hurt. I think if someone really loves you, if they hurt you, they will acknowledge that within the hour. They will apologize, and you can move on and learn from that and never let it happen again. But that didn't happen. It was just reoccurring violence, abuse, demoralization. And I think that's the problem. I think if you can speak to someone professional, you don't have to pay. You can call someone like the Samaritan, the AASBA, things like that. You can call people like that and they will explain, okay, I think you're in a toxic relationship. It's best if you do this, that, and the other.
And is this something that you may want to utilize yourself and maybe going into schools and colleges and talking about the experience of the sister?
Yes, as I'm working as a teaching assistant, I have been offered and teachers have asked me to do things like that, and I'm more than happy to do that to ensure that this never happens to a girl or a young man or a young woman ever again, because the only thing I can explain to you the way this feels, imagine acid being within your body and it's always on fire. That's how it feels.
No, that's very hard to hear. It's very hard to hear. One of the things.
And sorry, just to interrupt you, just to know that since this tragedy happened, I was diagnosed with depression. My sister was diagnosed with depression and things like that. He's not only taken my family's love and our passion and happiness away, he's taken most of my life. I remember I left my job, I left everything. I didn't work, I didn't do anything for 6 months. I was depressed, I was demoralized, I was in the lowest of lows. I was contemplating suicide. You know, these are the things that he needs to think about. He's not only hurt us and my family, the repercussions that he caused for my family, you can't even begin to imagine. I've only just started coming out and started working again. Imagine how low you have to make someone to not make them want to leave their room, not make them want to go out. Not because they're scared, but because you've taken everything from them.
No, that's very powerful. That is very, very powerful.
Yeah, that's all I can say, and I just that's all.
One of the things he did say was that he wanted to one day, when he's able to, start a charity in her name. Is that something that you got to be against?
So the only charity he can ever start is how to get anyone murdered. That's the only charity he can start, and I hope he does well with that. Because I don't want him to do anything with my sister. I don't want him anywhere near my sister's name, anywhere near my sister's grave. I don't want him anywhere near my family or my sister, because he's a disgusting psychopath, a calculated murderer who got away with murder.
Oh,
he's nothing but a peasant to me. That's all he is.
Yeah, I hear the pain coming from your voice, and all I can say once again is condolences. And I
appreciate that, and I just want to say his family condoned this. His mother saw the way he beat my sister. His mother gave my sister £50 after he took and broke her phone, and she bought a phone with that, and he took that as well. You have to understand where we're coming. His mother condoned this. His mother is as much to blame as he is, and then she had the audacity to put flowers on where my sister died outside the communal area. That's disgusting. Don't you ever come near my sister again. Don't ever mention my sister's name, because you're disgusting. You know, how could you allowed it, his mother allowed him to get this far, his mother, and then his brother has the audacity to message me a few months after my sister's death. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want anything to do with you disgusting family. I have to repress my negativity, because all negativity does is attract negativity, so I have to be positive.
And I totally get your frustrations, but as I said, I thought it'd be fair to get both sides of the stories, because your sister's not here to speak for herself, and you as her brother, it was right to give you the platform to also speak and say how you guys feel as a family.
Yeah. I completely understand, and I understand he has to say his point of view as well, which I have no problem with. He has the freedom, he has the freedom of speech, so I completely understand that. But all I want to say in relation to that, it's all lies. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you for taking the time to speak with me, and all I hope is that prayers for everyone, and over time, hopefully the healing can process, and you guys, the sisters' memories will live on and within you guys. And when you have children yourself, you can speak about your sister from the memories you have of her, and hopefully things improve in regards to your mother's health, your own health, and your other sister's health as well. And I wish you guys all the best.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the time you've given me and the platform to speak on behalf of my sister and the platform to get help.
No worries at all, man. All the best.
All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.